スケラスパーロ。
この手を伸ばした先には嘘じゃない笑顔いつもここにあの時分かり合った行き先は決まってたはずだね忘れた日々を過ごしてたやっと見つけた帰る場所遥か空に描く夢届けこの想い探してる君の声ドアに望むこの時も誓ういつまでも手を取って未来を歩むよ
ことの葉アムリラート。
Hello everyone and welcome to the Expression Amrilato from MangaGamer, who provided me with a copy of this game, so thanks for that. This is a game currently available only on MangaGamer.com. It was supposed to have a Steam release, but Valve decided at the last second that the content is not suitable. Despite the fact that there is no age content in the game, it's all ages game. But I guess there was like maybe a scene in like a bath where like some parts were covered up, but you know, it was, I guess that was the scene that might have been. It's too lewd, despite the fact that there are plenty of porn games on Valve already on Steam. But you know, that's neither here nor there. But this is Expression Amrilato, a game where you can actually learn a new language called Esperanto, which is the language used for international communication a lot of times. Let's start a new game. It's not called this in the game, but as you saw on the splash screen, it's based on that. As I left the station, I finally felt a sense of relief. I was exhausted from the 10-minute delay on the train, but thankfully I'd made it back and home in one piece.
にしてもやたら長い時間調整だったな
With all the announcements they kept making, saying the train ahead is, it made me wonder, can't we at least move? I guess that would have been pretty difficult with both trains on the same track. But still, it'd be a pretty nifty solution to the problem if we could just switch from one rail to another.
いいのいいの
There's no sense agonizing over the past. Life is all about looking ahead and not forgetting your goals. And today I had a goal that nothing was going to distract me from.
はよ変われ
The crosswalk signal in front of the station was costing me precious time. Though I guess if I wanted to put a more positive spin on it, that meant I had more time to myself to think, right?
どんな味なんだろう
The image of Yuzu's blissful and disheveled face popped back in my head. I can't believe you've never heard of them. Aren't you supposed to be from around here? Maybe I should start calling you Borin starting tomorrow. Ha ha ha. I knew they had to be good for her to tease me so much.
超ハードル上がったからな覚えとけよ
I placed both hands over my chest, which was puffed up in anticipation. The instant the light changed, I sprinted across like an Olympic athlete. My target was a newly opened taiyaki. I keep wanting to call it takoyaki. Taiyaki stand on the edge of the bustling shopping district, which was full of people hunting for end-of-month sales.
そりゃなんとなくはチェックしてたけどさ
Whenever I'd passed it before, I'd always had a mouthful of sweets or handfuls of bags, or thought I'd come back with someone later. Just never had the opportunity. That's why first thing this morning, I made the decision to go today. I just had to have some of this taiyaki I'd been hearing so much about. It's all the rage in Japan, or so I hear. Somehow the old familiar cityscape had a kind of fresh new look to it.
たいたいたい焼き
Or even singing. I love sweets.
皮はパリッと中はしっとり
Just thinking about that first bite that melts in your mouth was more than I could bear.
たい焼き屋さんロックオン
Normally there was a line, but right now the last customer was just about to leave. I picked up the pace and slid up to the
いら
counter.
っしゃいませあんあんこ一つくださいな
Maybe I was a little too
あん
excited.
こお一つですね。当店はこしあん仕様となりますがよろしいですか？
Smooth Anko, I'm sorry. I like the creamy Anko a little bit more than the smooth. Maybe the chunky Anko. What is Anko? I don't even know. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't look the smiling Clark in the face. I just knew she had been laughing at me in her head.
お待たせしました。お一つで
170 yen. I'm not made of
170
money.
円となります。
どうも
I handed her the exact change I've been carrying in my pocket since before I got on the train and reached out to take the paper bag she was offering.
暑いので気をつけてくださいね。
What is taiyaki anyway? I nodded as I took the bag, savoring the heat.
これこれこれ
Gotta eat those kind of things
最
hot.
高
Each day had its share of troubles, but moments like these just made them all fly away.
いただきます
The part sticking out of the bag was crispy, while maintaining just the right amount of firmness. The subtle Japanese flavor and the piping hot sweetness in my mouth were incredible. The taste was so far above my expectations, I almost forgot where I was going for a minute.
お客様？
Wait, why was I chowing down right here and now?
あすみませんとても美味しいです
That's right, I was still in front of the taiyaki stand. As I came back to my senses, I realized that a line had started forming behind me. I quickly stepped aside to escape the eyes watching me.
恥ずかしすぎる
Now you'll live. I tried to put some distance between the stand and myself. But just as I turned a corner to head down a back alley,
どい
I tripped and lurched forward, scrambling to stay upright.
セーフ
Somehow I managed to put my hand on the wall to avoid disaster. I didn't know what had gotten into me in the past few minutes. Anyone watching would have thought I was just some weirdo.
知り合いとかに見られてないよね
I really hope no one I know saw that. I really hope that this other person I ran into is not another character in my life. Nothing would be worse than if one of my classmates saw me. Anything but that. I lifted my head and prayed that I had avoided that level of misfortune. Thankfully, no one had seen me. But something wasn't right. I was overcome with an indescribable sense that something was wrong. If I had to put my finger on it, I'd say the atmosphere didn't seem quite right.
なんか
Thinking maybe I had something in my eyes, I rubbed them with my sleeves. But even with my vision clear, nothing was any different. No, this was wrong. Something was definitely off, way off.
何これ
Oh, hang on, let me check the menu settings here. I like the menu settings. Look at that. Language, we can turn to Japanese if we want. We can't actually see the translations until you complete the story mode. In-game quizzes. Awesome. But we want to change the sound effects. BGM. Turn it down just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. I couldn't quite make out what the people on the street were saying. What had I just been doing? What was I doing now? What am I? What am I?
どうしよう何も考えられない
Where am I? All at once, a childhood memory came back to me. I lost my grip on my mom's hand in a busy crowd and started to look everywhere for her in a panic. She wasn't to my left or my right, in front or behind me. She was nowhere to be found.
これって迷子
Yes, this felt exactly the same as back then. My whole body coursed with the despair of being all alone.
やだ、そんなわけないじゃない。
It wasn't possible. At my age? After all, I knew this place, but something felt suddenly different.
もうここどこなのよ。
I shouted out without thinking. Then I noticed the sky overhead. Wasn't it just morning? That was impossible. It hadn't been much later than 2 o'clock when I got back into town. More than an hour couldn't have passed since then.
だよね。おやつタイム前だ。
I checked my phone and confirmed my estimate wasn't too far off. What was off was the view in front of me.
なんで空がピンクなの？
This wasn't the color of an evening sky. This was totally different from the color of a sunset. It wasn't the red, orange, or deep purple that came with the approach of nighttime. It was something I had never seen before. It wasn't an unpleasant color, but it looked terribly ominous.
待って、落ち着け、落ち着こう。
Maybe I was just suffering from exhaustion. If not... Could it have been the taiyaki I just ate? Oh my god, it's poisoned. I'm gonna leave that place a bad review on Yelp. Had it actually been laced with some illicit substance that was giving me hallucinations?
美味しすぎると思ったのはそのせい。
If that was the case, then this was serious. The other customers who'd bought taiyaki would be in trouble too. I hurried back to the shopping district's main street. I stood dumbstruck for almost 10 full seconds.
なんじゃこりゃ。
The cityscape I should have known well was subtly different. The storefronts, they all had signs written in letters I couldn't understand.
あれ、たい焼き屋さんは？
I looked around frantically, not finding anything, but a pleasant scent wafting in the air led me to it. But, it wasn't coming from the stand I had just been to. If my memory served correctly, this should have been a ramen stand.
どうしよう、どうしよう。
My nausea was quickly surpassing my fear. I had to get my bearings somehow.
すみません。
I met the gaze of a girl and approached her, bowing my head as I spoke.
ここって杉玉商店街ですよね。
I was hoping she would respond with, yes, that's right, but the reality was different. All she did was tilt her head with an extremely puzzled look on her face. And then...
Pardon, mi complaints, que olvidaras.
She shook her head like she was apologizing. She certainly looked Japanese, but we couldn't communicate. In that case...
Excuse me!
What about English? I wasn't sure what I should say after that, though. Please understand me. I bowed my head again as if in prayer. She just smiled at me and said...
Ne grabas.
And left with a smile.
英語もダメなの？
Even after I swallowed my pride to display my barely passable foreign language skills. I was heartbroken and my enthusiasm levels had dropped to half. Still, I wouldn't let myself be discouraged. I would just keep finding new people to challenge until I found one who would understand me. You know, it would be very... Like, if you were in a new place with a new language and you didn't understand it and they didn't understand you, it would be almost impossible to communicate with them. You know, we take communication, you know, for granted. You know, I speak English and the other people around me speak English as well, most of the time. So I take that for granted. But if for some reason that I couldn't communicate with the other person through either written or, you know, verbal communication, that would be very difficult. You'd have to resort to things like body language and stuff like that, you know. Stuff we take for granted, you know, it should not be, you know, ignored. You know, communication is a very valuable part of society. It should be, you know, respected. So, you know, when you see someone trying to communicate with you, you know, maybe they, you know, maybe they're hard of hearing or whatever, or maybe they just can't speak English, you know, try to really work to understand them because, you know, it's as hard for them as it is for you. Not being understood by anyone was a miserable feeling, and being completely unable to understand what anyone else was saying was beyond disheartening. I was shocked when I tried speaking to a girl around the same age as me, only to have her walk away without a word. The final blow was when I started to feel like people were watching me with suspicion. Well, Even the laid-back people in the shopping district would lose their patience if some confused girl started going up to everyone trying to talk to them in some strange language.
はい、すみません。引っ込みます。
I went into a deserted back alley and just sat in a corner. My eyes glazed over as I stared out at the barely visible shopping district, at a complete loss. How had things come to this? Okay, let's try to calm down and think about this rationally. Something's wrong with me, 1. 2, or something's wrong with the world. Or something else is wrong. If it's something else wrong with me, then I need to pin down the cause. If I can figure out the cause, then I can start to try to figure out how to fix it.
治療不可の病気とかだったらどうしよう。
What if, as it progresses, it starts to affect senses beside my vision and hearing? Am I already too far gone? I should at least check my sense of taste.
大丈夫だ。
I shoved the rest of the taiyaki in my mouth, even though it had cooled off a little. I could tell it was still as scrumptious as ever. Wait, what am I, stupid? I just devoured the whole taiyaki, even after my earlier suspicions. Now my condition might get even worse. What if I was headed right back to where I started?
今のところ変化なし。
I like this game. It's very rare that a game will teach you. Like visual novels especially. Very few of them are actually educational in nature. So this is always a pleasant surprise. I decided to forget about the taiyaki for the time being and try to consider other possibilities. If there was nothing wrong with me, then what if the answer was something's wrong with the world? How did things get this way?
手の込んだドッキリ。
I remembered foreign TV shots seen online. If in it they targeted people turning back into a back alley, broadcasting their surprise to a laughing audience as the person's path was blocked by a fake wall. When the confused target would try to head back the way they came, a woman screaming would ring out through the deserted alley. As they looked around frantically, trying to figure out what was happening, a black-robed figure would appear from behind a corner and approach the target, brandishing a red-stained sickle. The audience would laugh and exclaim at their reaction, and as the scene ended by showing each target's response to seeing the camera after the trick was revealed. I mean, honestly, it was caused so many problems that they tried to do the same thing in Japan. But what if they tried filming a gentler kind of surprise?
やばい。私ずっと撮られてたりする。
It was a little late at this point, but now all I was worried about was my messy hair and clothes. I tried to look around casually to see if I could spot a camera somewhere. On the corner, I saw what looked like a camera under a dim light. So, it had been a prank all along. Wait, that was just a security camera.
ないない。本当に大掛かりなセットだったとしても。
I mean, and how could they have changed the color of the sky? So, what else was there? What about some combination of options 1 and 2? They could have drugged my food and then built some sort of fake shopping district while I wasn't conscious. The sky appearing pink and my inability to talk to anyone could be a result of the drug. Alright, well now I was starting to get somewhere. If that was the case, I should just wait here quietly for a while. Eventually, the drug would wear off and the TV crew would come out with their cameras.
忘年ターガン。
Yes, just like that. Some scruffy middle-aged guy would come up to me like, I'm not sure how to tell you this, but... Wait, not like that at all.
忘年ターガン。
What was that sweet-sounding voice? I jerked my head up, unable to trust my own ears. Standing in front of me was a lone girl.
おっさんじゃなくてアイドルが来ちゃったよ。
Was this a trick? What kind of prank was this?
Jumi povas helpi Alfie.
If this was part of the prank, I had no complaints. I tried to confirm my suspicions first.
カメラはどこ？どこ？シーポ？シパーノ？カメラってキャメラだっけ？
I tried my hardest to use the native pronunciation, but she didn't seem to understand. It was probably because she couldn't understand English, right?
Mi estas Ruka.
Yeah, she was definitely not speaking English.
Kio
estas via nomo?
Estas. Estas. And what was estas?
Kie vi loĝas?
Got the sense she was asking me something, but I had no idea what. All I could do was shake my head from side to side.
Ĉu vi perdis la vojon?
I felt so guilty over how concerned she seemed for me.
せめて片言でもいいから通じればいいのに。
In that case, I would make an effort to find the subject in what she was saying. Wait, maybe the reason she looked so concerned was because I wasn't answering. Alright, I listened closely to the next thing she said and casually responded with a question of my own. I pricked up my ears and waited for her next words.
Ĉu vi parolas la lingvon Juliamo?
Yuliamo?
Juliamo?
I felt like I'd hit on something. Was it someone's name?
Yes, Juliamo.
Ah, so it was. But I still had no idea who that person was. Wait. Now I was just making up the conversation in my head, just as I was scolding
Ĉu
myself.
vi ne estas korespondanto?
Ooh, I know what that means. Correspondent. Maybe. From her intonation, seemed to be asking me something again. How long will this conversation go on before I could make her understand I don't understand you?
待てよ。キヨ?
Even if I hadn't gotten through, there was something she said that got through to me.
あなた、今さっきイエスって言わなかった？ Yes?
There, she said it again. She said it kind of questioningly this time, but I definitely heard the word yes.
英語通じるっぽい。
I finally met someone I could communicate with, kinda. If only that were true. I still had to deal with the unfortunate handicap of my subpar English skills.
です。Hello, my name is Lee.
I thought I'd try to start by introducing myself. Huh? She just froze up. Was my pronunciation that bad?
英語ならなんとかなりそうなのに。
A lot of the words had English kind of sounding pronunciation, so, you know, that was a good idea.
そう、日本語が通じない以上、それだけが頼みの綱なのに。日本語？
Japanese?
日本語。あれ？まさか日本語わかるの？日本語わかる。
Which is it?
あなた、日本語話せますか？日本語ちょっとわかります。
Okay, she understands a little bit. Awesome, we'd established communication.
よかった。私ね、どこでどう迷ったか変なところに来ちゃってさ。でね、誰に話しかけても
I
言
think you
葉
just
が
fried her
通じなくて
brain trying to
めっちゃ
understand all
困
that.
ってて。Pardon said tranquillijo.
So that means pardon, probably, you know.
ごめん。
Like she didn't understand. She said she understood a little. Of course she wouldn't be able to understand me suddenly unleashing a torrent of Japanese on her like that.
ごめんなさい。全然。あなたは謝らないで。
I had a wry grimace on my face, but my companion was smiling sweetly. This girl was so nice. It was still up in the air whether I could convey my situation, and I felt really bad about imposing on her, but I had to have faith that this girl would be able to help me.
ねえねえ、よかったら交番まで案内してくれない？
If this were my hometown, I would just head for the building on the next intersection over without even bothering to ask.
いやいや、ここは地元だよ。そうじゃないって言うなら。
So a thought popped in my head, but it wasn't possible, so I just pushed it aside.
案内？住民コンドクフィン？伝わったのかな？とりあえず、イエス！
From the feel of it, I thought, or hoped, that she had gotten the gist of what I was saying. I summoned up my courage and stuck out my hand for a handshake. That at least had to be a universal gesture.
よろしくお願いします。
Yes!
こちらこそよろしく。私リンね。
It didn't seem like I'd done a very good job of introducing myself the first time, so I gave it another shot.
リリシクのリンでリン。
I made sure to place my hand on my chest like last time for emphasis. Would she get it this time? My heart raced as I waited for her response, and after she gave it some thought,
ルカ。
Ruka. She told me, copying my gesture.
それがあなたの名前ね。
Awesome, we got a name.
Yes.
Nice. The way she nodded bashfully and spoke with that quiet voice was just so cute. Once things had settled down, I wondered if I could get a picture of her.
よし。
Seems a little weird.
案内をお願いしま
Okay.
す。
Now that my energy was back, I followed behind this girl who held my fate in her hands, Ruka. She led me past the front of the station. Then we entered the residential area. I didn't usually go to this part of town, so it was hard to tell at a glance what was different and what was the same. My eyes just kept getting drawn to the foreign writing on the utility poles and house nameplates, my inability to read them only reminding me of how stressed out I was.
ココです。あれれ
Ruka stepped onto the property of a fancy-looking 3-story apartment building and beckoned for me to join her. I couldn't find anything resembling a police box nearby, plus we were quite away from the station.
ボンブルーエンベーニちょっと
I didn't want to get left behind, so I just followed after her. And then I found myself waiting on a living room sofa for some reason. Wasn't sure how long it had been since Ruka went to a room in the back with her phone in one hand. Based on her gestures, I got the feeling it meant something like sit there. So I obliged, but I was still uneasy to be left alone. Probably shouldn't just wander off on my own.
にも行かないし。
Oh, she's talking. Never mind. I'm talking over you. From Ruka's behavior, I figured this had to be her home. But even so, why did she bring me here?
近所だからちょっと立ち寄ったとか。
Eh, maybe. Maybe she needed to take care of something before she took me to the police box. Well, at least it gave me a chance to use her bathroom. I felt myself calm down as I sipped the drink she'd left me. Come to think of it, I hadn't had anything to drink since lunch. Now I might be able to think a little more clearly. First, I should try to get my bearings somewhat. Where was I right now? Putting aside the obvious dumb answer of Ruka's house, what was this place actually?
ちらっと見た駅前も微妙に違ったからな。
It was like my hometown, but not. It was similar, but different. The atmosphere was different. Even putting the color of the sky aside. The icky feeling clinging to my skin made me unbearably uncomfortable. But at least now I'd calmed down a little. That was thanks to Ruka. I would have to be sure to thank her when she came back.
にしても何してるのかな。
She'd been gone at least 10 minutes, hadn't she? Not knowing how much longer I'd have to wait, I took out my phone to kill time. I absently tapped an icon on it, only to be met with disappointment several seconds later.
ここダメなんだ。
I tried holding my phone in every position I could think of, but failed to get even one bar.
こんなことなら朝やっとけばよかった。
Once I went somewhere with reception, I had to remember to go online. It was quickly becoming a habit, ever since I started hanging out with Yuzu, but I wasn't ready to break my daily login streak yet.
もっと重要なことがあった。
Yeah, I think we can put that aside for one day. I think we have more pressing matters. If I had my phone with me this whole time, why the heck didn't I even try to call someone? That would have been the obvious first step. I'd hurry up and call home. No, Mom was supposed to be working her part-time job today, so her cell phone would be the best bet.
だからこっちが電波通じてないんだってば。
How big of an idiot was I? Well, we were thrust in a new situation. We're not thinking clearly. That's just how it is. I knew it was bad manners, but I threw myself across the sofa with a plot. It had taken me this long to realize the obvious course of action. But now it wasn't an option anymore. There was no telling how much additional stress this would cause me. I shut my eyes and tried to calm myself down. All I could feel right now was the softness of the sofa. This was nice. It might have been actually nicer than my own bed. Ooh. I like that. That's nice. Still half asleep, I brought my phone up to my face to check the time.
6時か。
I rolled over, burying my face in the back of the sofa when I suddenly remembered the situation I was in.
そうだ、私。
I was waiting in Ruka's living room for her to come back, and I fell asleep.
いや、待て待て。
At one point, I remembered looking for a switch to turn on the light so I could go to the bathroom.
二度ね。
And then I slept for a really long time. But when I looked at the clock a second ago,
6時?
I checked the time on my phone again and finally realized my situation. It had been just after 3 p.m. when I flopped onto the sofa. Now it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
嘘。
Oh, 600 hours.
無断開白?
Military time. My mom must have been worried sick and I didn't have any reception here. There was sure to be hell to pay once I got home. I figured I should probably go ahead and start practicing my groveling. That's when I noticed a number of things I laid out on the end of the table.
これって。
There was a sandwich wrapped in cellophane, a complete set of clothes neatly folded and stacked, a brand new toothbrush, soap and hand towel, and a bath towel. Next to them was a note, written in awkward handwriting that said, "Help yourself." She must have said all those things out for me while I was sleeping like a log. How sweet. Oh, I had noticed before now, but there was also a warm blanket over me. Ruka's such a sweetheart. I wanted to thank her right away, but when I looked around the living room, I didn't see her anywhere. She was probably sleeping in her own room.
じゃあ、ありがたく使わせてもらうね。
I'd save the sandwich for later, but first I'd freshen up. No, first, a bath. A shower would be fine too, as long as I could clean myself. I snatched the bath set and headed for the bathroom.
お風呂広い。え、お湯まで準備済み?
Oh, nice. Was it set on a timer so that I could use it first thing in the morning? That's pretty awesome. Why did it feel like she was seeing to my every need? I felt really presumptuous, but all this felt like an invitation to make myself at home, like an honored guest at some sort of fancy inn. I couldn't come up with any other explanation.
よし、まずは体を洗うぞ。
I stared at the containers lined up against the wall as I rinsed myself off of the bath stool. I couldn't read what was written on any of them, but based on the designs, the one on the right was probably body soap. I was in heaven. Being able to bathe with my legs stretched out instead of bunched up against the side of the tub was the height of luxury. And then there was this curiously foamy soap. This was the sort of thing I'd only seen in foreign movies.
この泡でバスタブを埋め尽くしたら楽しそうだな。
Obviously, I wasn't evil enough to actually do something like that in another person's home. Considering my position as an unusual house guest, it was my best to exercise restraint.
これからどうしようか。
I thought about my next steps as I shampooed my hair. The positive side of it, being a new day, was that I could get an early start on things. As an early start for me too, because I'm recording this literally at 5 in the morning. I'd asked Ruka to take me to the police box again, and there I could confirm where I was. Assuming I could explain my situation, I should be able to make it back home before dark.
よしよし。うちがそれほど遠くなかったら、今度は私がルカを招待して。
I owed her a serious debt of gratitude for all her help. And besides, if she accepted, then...
ボナマテーナ。
I heard a sleepy voice drift through the door as it creaked again. Creaked open, sorry.
あ、ルカ?
I was in the middle of washing my hair, so I called out to her without moving from my
ごめんね。
position.
勝手に使わせてもらっちゃって。もしかしてルカもお風呂?
This is the part that got the game banned on Steam. What kind of adorable yawn was that?
だったらすぐに済ませて出るから、ちょっと待っててね。
I wasn't sure if she could understand me or not, but I figured she should get the gist of it. That's what I assumed. I was about to rinse the shampoo out of my hair when...
ルカ? ちょっと。
The door shut, but I sensed Ruka was still there. If fact, I was just thinking she seemed even closer than before when I heard the sound of someone getting in the water.
まさか寝ぼけて。
Did she just get in the water with her clothes on? Who does that?
さすがにそれはないね。よかったよかったって。
Kiel vi fartas?
All I could do was sit slack-jawed as she looked at me with a mysterious expression on her face. Ruka was naked. I mean, she was taking a bath, so of course she was. We were both girls, so it wasn't a big deal, but I still felt kind of uncomfortable like this.
その、あんまり見ないでもらえると嬉しいかなって。
My body was nothing to brag about, and frankly my shoulders were more mannish than anything. It was embarrassing. Oh, I know that. That's a universal sign. My frustration grew as she kept staring at me, the smile on her
い
face.
や、だからね。もういいや。
I gave up and went back to washing my hair. I was still concerned about her, though, so I said,
ありがとうね。ありがとう。ねえ。その、いろいろ気を使わせてごめんね。いい色？キヨ？ごめんね。パルドーヌ？
with the mashup of different languages she just thrown at me, I wasn't really sure how to respond. I thought about it and finally said, Pardano?
パルドーヌ？
I remembered hearing that word a number of times before. I didn't really like answering a question with another question, but it just kind of slipped out on its own.
パルドーヌ？そう。ああ、イエス！パルドーヌ！
We're learning things. I had to be mindful about communicating with her.
Kiel vi petas mian pardonen?
Okay, hang on. You're too much there. Huh? Not Pardano, but Pardonon? Which was it? I figured I'd just go ahead and ask, assuming either one was fine.
日本語でパルド、何？わかる？
I adjusted my question mid-thought, making my words sound clunky. Would she be able to understand my rambling?
日本語わかる？
イエス！日本語訳パルドーヌの意味って？
意味で？意味で？
Ruka tilted her head as she brought both hands up to her scalp and made a gesture like she was washing her hair. Was she imitating me?
もしかしてパルドーヌって髪を洗うこと？
That can't be right. No, I could tell from her response I had it wrong. Because she said it yesterday.
パルドーヌの意味知りたいだけなのに。
意味パルドーヌ意味？
イエス！
ごめんです。日本語ごめんなさいがパルドーヌです。またはパルドーヌです。
Finally, we were getting somewhere. I could kiss her.
ありがとう
I'm not
は
going
日
to, of course.
本語ありがとうは
ありがとう
Dencon.
ダンコンです。
It's easy. Dencon. That's like kind of German for like donkey, you know. Now we're getting somewhere. In that case.
ルカ、そのダンコン。
ねえダンキンで
そのね、ダンキンでって
どういたしましてです。
Awesome. It felt really good to finally be able to carry on a conversation. I suddenly felt much closer to this girl.
あ、実際すごく近いわ。
It was only my second day of knowing her, and we were already bonding in the nude. I'm sure by the end of the week we'll be married.
どうぞ。
Oh, I bet she's like, you're beautiful.
なんかさっきよ
All I could do was cast glances as I washed my hair. Meanwhile, she was staring at me nonstop from where she was sitting. Didn't the situation seem a little unfair?
他にも聞いてもいい？日本語のいいえは？
I focused on her response as I lathered up the
日
shampoo.
本語いいえねです。
And that meant yes and no, or yes and nah?
じゃあ自分のことは？自分のことは？ああ、日本語のわたしは？自分
Me.
私みです。
That's pretty universal, I think. A lot of places, a lot of languages have that.
みか。
Reminded me of me from I, My, Me. Strawberry eggs.
あなた V です。ゆとかじゃないんだ。
She turned the faucet and warm water came out. Was this what she did instead of showering?
ゆバルマアクフォです。
Aqua? Okay, that makes sense. Like aqua.
何それ？熱いバルメーガ
Barmega.
水アクフォ。
Man, I'm getting smarter already.
微妙に違う？温かいバルマ
Ah,
熱いバルメーガ。
show intensity of verbs. Warm versus hot. But those aren't verbs, those are adjectives.
熱い
They describe the
同じ
water.
お湯でも差があって当然だよね。
I thought about it as I rinsed the shampoo out of my hair. I'm sticking hot, or mega, and water, aqua, together made hot water, then, or warmer than warm water, then
じゃあうわ
I suddenly felt something grip my sides just beneath my armpits and let out a
ち
squeal.
ょっとルカ
Wait, what? My hair was covering my eyes and I couldn't see anything, but I could sense from her body heat that she was getting closer. Suddenly grabbed me from behind like that, and what was that pressed against my back?
ベーヌアルミ来る。
Alumi? What did aluminium have to do with anything? Her body was so hot. I heard that aluminium was a great conductor of heat,
お
but
世話させて。
oh. Take care of me in the bath.
自分でできるから。
Bathing ourselves for years. We'll be fine.
私立たせてあげます。
Huh? Raise what? Me? I was some newborn baby deer.
大丈夫。ほらもう立ってる。ちゃんとほらもう立ってるから。足上げて。
Hold on, things are moving way too fast. I couldn't keep up. This is something you usually did yourself, right?
センチェーネエラパヌーヨン。わかんね
But it was impossible for me to resist. In the end, I was at her mercy.
え。やめてvas a kitty a la larneo.
School. I know that word.
学校です。
I know that word. That means she's going to school. Probably not. But anyway, I think I'm gonna call it here for the end of the quick look. You can buy this game right now. It's on MangaGamer.com. It's $20 on sale, $25 normally. If you use the affiliate link in the description below, I get a little cut of anyone who buys the game from that using the link, which is always nice. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps support the channel. With that said, hope you all enjoyed the Expression Amrilato. Very interesting game. You can learn a lot, actually, it seems like. There might be some liberties taken, as it said in the beginning, but it seems like it might be pretty accurate to what the actual Esperanto language is. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed it, and have a good day.